Alright, I am back from my 1 month hiatus. So basically everyone's been commenting on these three videos, I don't know, one of these videos, saying how they're having like a lot of problems. And like, I made that like, I don't even know when I made that, but like, I've gotten better. At least I think I've gotten better. So I'm gonna recreate the dashing and the stamina video, okay? So let's get into it. So first of all, I don't want to work in this basically because it's boring, so I'm gonna like just like add some stuff here before I start working, so give me 1 second. Alright, now that I have my little scenery thing, I'm gonna now just make the little bar for the stamina thing. Honestly, you can customize your stamina bar however you want it to look like. I'm just gonna make a quick simple one so I can get into the most important part, which is the scripting part of it. So you customize yours however you want. I'm gonna time lapse this one so you can see the process of how I make it. I just figured out about this because like I didn't know this, but like just in case you're wondering how I got the color to gradient, this way, all I did was add a gradient color. Let me just redo that. So literally just I went to the stamina holder thingy, I added a UI gradient, so gradient, right, and I just set the gradient to the color mixture I wanted. So for me it was like black and like a darker gray, so black like this, like a darker gray like that. Right, like that. And then usually it's just from like left to right, but to get it to be like up and down, I went to the left and I just rotated it by 90 degrees, and then that's why I get the little up and down feature like that. I feel like somebody probably watching this probably had that question when they saw the time lapse, but yeah, that's how I did it. Alright, now that we have our stamina bar done here, let me just rename this to bar. My bad if you can hear my chair in the background, but yeah, let me rename this to bar, and then I'm going to make this so that it's just an equal like size for all devices. So I have a plugin. There's multiple plugins you can get for this. I normally use this plugin. It's called UI Tools v1.3b. You can get it from the toolbox if you go to plugins and you search up UI Tools. Is right here. No, not that one. Right here. I forgot how much it costs, but I think it's either somewhere between 100 and 200 Robux. You can also just get this one too, which does the exact same thing. The auto scale one, they have a light version of this one. It's free, but if you type in auto scale, you should be able to see it. Auto scale, God, auto scale, right? You can get the light version. This is free, and then okay, let's say you got this one, right? This is how your auto scale plugin would look like if you were to get the free version, right? I'm assuming some of y'all probably don't have the Robux to buy the other ones. So yeah, you click here, and then what I'm going to do to keep this the same size for all devices, right, you're going to click on the your little holder of your stamina bar. So like my physical bar is right here, right, like the actual bar is right here, and then the holder is this thingy. So you want to go on the holder, then you want to go to plugins, and you want to click unit conversion. You want to set both to scale, size, and position, and then after that you want to click add constraints. So now if you were to try testing on another device, like let's say a phone, C stays relatively the same. You want to switch to like, I don't know, iPhone 5. You want to switch to an iPhone 4. See, it stays like that rectangular, that's that. And now we can get into the scripting part of it, okay? All right, so basically for this, we're going to have 4 folders in total. We're going to place these folders inside of under starter player, under starter character scripts. The first folder is going to be handler. This is going to contain the stamina model script for the stamina's basic functions. You're going to have the status scripts. This is going to hold the stamina local script and the stamina service script, right? And you're going to have the status, which is going to hold the actual stamina value, as well as the halt folder, which should be in the status configuration. So this is actually a configuration instance, and this is basically just folders that are mainly made for value-based instances. So for example, if I type in value, you can see bull value, brick, color value, C-frame value, and all those other values. That's what this is basically for. Okay, so let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to open first is the stamina instance, actually. So once you make this, right, this has an attribute called max in here. you make that by clicking here and then, you know, typing in max and then set it to a number value. Okay, this is basically, these attributes are basically custom properties for instances. So let's say if I wanted to add something called, I don't know, like height or something for some reason, for like any other item, do height, and then you can put number and then save and then, you know, set it to whatever. It's basically the same thing like as like a regular property, but like it's like your own custom property, if that makes sense, of an item. Okay, so yeah. So this is just going to be the maximum amount of the stamina you can have. So we set that to the same value as a regular stamina. All right, so the first script I'm going to go inside of is Stamina Handler. This is a module script. So inside of here, we start off by referencing the run service. We reference the character, which is script.parent.parent. The reason why script.parent.parent is because script, see the script right here, right? .parent.parent. This is going to be, this right here will be replaced with your character. So when your character spawns, they're going to spawn with all 3 folders inside of their character. So let me show you. If I click play right here, go to workspace and then my character's name. See, I have handler, status scripts, and I have status here. So now we have status config, which is going to be character wait for child status. We have halts folder, which is going to be inside of the status configuration folder. We have the stamina, the actual stamina object, which is going to be inside of the status configuration folder. Okay. So here we have the default regen amount. This is going to be the amount that this is going to be how many iterations or how many times it regens per, you know, how much it regens per iteration. So it's going to regen 1 stamina every iteration, and the default regen rate is going to be how fast it regens. So that means that it's going to regen 1 stamina value every 0.05 seconds. These two are the constants, so this is going to be like the default. That's why they're capitalized, and that's why they have default in the name, because this is the default values. Okay, let me zoom in a bit. So now here we have regen amount, which is going to be the current regeneration amount, and the regen rate is going to be the current regen rate. The reason why I have these two as separate variables is because this is going to be used for modifications of the stamina. So for example, let's say a player drinks like a super potion, which is supposed to let them regen stamina faster. That's why we're going to be using these two for the modifications. So now after that, we make a table called regen cancelers. This is going to basically be for when you want to put a pause on the player's regeneration. Basically the player's regeneration. This is also going to be used as a cooldown for the regeneration, so it doesn't like just instantly regen like super fast when the player uses a move or something. So we have regen cooldown. This is going to be a sentinel, and then we have can change props. It's also another sentinel. This regen cooldown is a sentinel for the regeneration, and the can change property is a sentinel for if they can change the if they can modify the regeneration properties or not. So this is a module script, so this is the normal the module thing. Normally this is going to be like, but like I changed the name to stamina module. So let me show you an example. If I were to add a module script right here, Control I for the to insert things, and then you start to module script. See how it has like local module and then has a table, and then yeah I changed the name to stamina module. So now we're going to go over the functions. Okay, so the first function is going to be checkForStoppers. This is a helper function, as you see right here. This function checks to see if the stamina can regen. We start off by declaring a sentinel called can regen. Here we're saying that it's going to start off originally, like here we're saying that originally the stamina can regen, right? So that's what this line means. And then after that, we loop through this table. No, we loop through the halts folder, my bad. This halts folder right here under status to see if we can find any value, anything inside of here. Like see how this is inside of here? Yeah, we look through this thing to see if anything inside of here matches anything inside of here, and if it does, that means that we cannot regen, okay, at that moment. So yeah, so basically if it finds that, it changes can regen to false, meaning that we cannot regen anymore. So that's what this function does, and then returns that it returns whether we can regen or not. Okay, so that's what this function does right here. All right, so the next function is fixStamina. This is also a helper function. This function is going to be used to check to see whether the stamina is either above the maximum amount or below 0. This is going to prevent any glitches. For example, the stamina bar going under the, like, it's going to prevent the stamina bar from doing this, something like this. You see, and then like, you know, like that doesn't make any sense, and it's going to stop it from also doing something like this, because it doesn't make any sense. Because you can see here, if I make it like transparent, you see like how like it's above the actual holder, so that we don't want that, okay? And it's also going to stop you from having like negative stamina values, which really even makes sense in the first place. So yeah, here we do local max equals stamina get attribute max. This is basically saying that we're getting the maximum amount of stamina. So the attribute, and then we do if stamina.value is greater than max, then we do stamina.value equals the maximum. So if it, let's say we see our max is 100, if for some reason when we're regenning it goes to 105, we're going to change it back to 100. Okay. And here we're saying if stamina is less than 0, then we set that stamina to 0, preventing negative stamina. So yeah, that's this function, and that's what it does. Alright, so the next function is going to be stamina model.start. This basically is going to handle, this is a core function, is going to handle the regular regenning of the stamina. Okay, so let's open that. So yeah, we start off by wrapping this inside of the heartbeat event of run service. Okay, and inside of that we do local can regen equals checkForStoppers. So here we're going to call this function right here, which checks to see if there's any stoppers inside of the halts folder. So if it isn't, right, this is going to return true. So that means if there isn't, that's when we basically begin the regenning process. Okay, but if you see, let me go back to the checkForStoppers. See right here, if it finds a stopper, then it sets can regen to false. So yeah, if there isn't any stopper, it's going to set it to true. So that means we can regen, essentially. So yeah, so inside of here, we now begin the regenning process, right? And we say local max equals stamina get attribute max. We get the max value, and we say if the stamina value is less than the max, meaning that like we're not full stamina yet, that means we can regen, right? Okay, so we're gonna set regen cooldown to false, so that it doesn't try to do it again. Because here in this line 59 here we have if the value is less than the max and if we can regen. So if we can regen, that means we have to set the regenning to false because we're already regenning. Because if you don't set this to false right here, it's going to try to regen like multiple times at once, and we don't want that to happen, right? Cool. So now we have task.delay, and this is basically going to run the code under this little thread after this amount of seconds. And you know that the regen rate is what, 0.5. The default regen rate is 0.05, so that's how much is going to wait before it starts adding the value. So yeah, after this amount of seconds, is going to check for stoppers again to see if there's any stoppers again, and then if there's not any stoppers, it's going to add the regen value. So it's going to add the regen amount. So here our default regen amount is 1, so it's going to add 1 to the stamina, and then I put this here as a little debugging checker to see if it was actually doing it. We don't need that right now. Okay. Then after this, this conditional right here, we're gonna set the regen cooldown back to true, meaning that we can regen again, allowing this thing to loop again inside of the run service event. Okay. And at the very bottom, under the this is actually under the if can regen conditional. My bad. We run that fixStamina helper function again, which basically makes sure that we're not over the maximum, or are we under 0. Okay. Cool. So that's what this function does. Make sure you have it somewhat similar if you're copying manually. Okay. And the next function that we have is the stamina model.add function. It basically just handles adding to the stamina. Let's say we drank like water, which gave us plus 25 stamina. This is what's going to control that. Okay, so here we have the parameters for this are going to be a table. So we do ... and then we have local parameters equals ... right? And then we get the value from the parameters. We do value equals params.value. You can literally just put value as the parameter, but I'm putting ... because I might use this again and I might add more parameters for this. So yeah, so that local value equals params.value. Cool. Then if value is greater than 0, then that means we're actually going to add something. So we're putting this conditional right here to make sure we're not adding negative numbers, because technically that would be like subtracting, so we don't want that. So yeah, if value is greater than 0, then we do stamina.value plus equals value, and then fix stamina again to make sure it doesn't go over the max. Okay. Else, if it is less than 0, then we just set a warning thing just in case we forget, to let us know that we can't add a negative number. Cool. So that's the add function. Make sure you have it down. Okay, so next is going to be the subtract function. This is basically going to handle deduction from the stamina. So let's say I have a move like a, I don't know, a fireball move, which takes 25 stamina. This is what it's gonna call. Okay. So we have inside the stamina model, we have the params like last time, but this time we have 3 different values from this table. Okay, we have type, which is gonna be the halt type. Remove time, which is gonna be the halt. Remove time, which is gonna be the halt time, and then we have value. Okay. Remember how the stoppers checks to see if any of these, if any instance under the halts folder has any of these names? Yeah, the subtraction folder is going to add one of those halt instances. Okay, so type is going to be the name for the halt instance. It's either going to be named exert or stamina cooldown. Remove time is going to be how long we have that halt for. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be putting one of those stoppers inside of the halts folder, and basically remove time is going to be how long it takes for that stopper to get deleted. Okay, all right. So, and then the value is going to be how much we're actually deducting from that stamina. So here we're saying if the value is greater than 0, again we're trying not to subtract negative numbers because then we're adding, if that makes sense, right? And local exert equals instant.new bool value. Okay, exert.name equals type, whatever the name we decide to give it. Exert.value equals true. This is not really needed, but I just put this there to make it make sense for me, but you don't really need this line. But yeah, and exert.parent equals halts folder. Okay, so we're setting that little stopper inside of the halts folder, and then we delete that based on the given amount of the given remove time. So game that debris add item exert. This is gonna be the instance you want to delete, and then how long it takes for you to delete that instance. So that's what this line here means. And then after all that, we're gonna do stamina.value minus equals value. This line is basically the same as saying stamina.value equals stamina dot value minus 1. Okay, that's the same. It's a quicker way of saying it. Okay. And then after all that, you want to, of course, run that fixStamina function to make sure we're not below 0. And yep. And of course, we have the else attempted to subtract negative number thing to let us know if we try to do it by accident or something. Okay. So yeah, that's the subtraction function. Make sure you have that copied down. Okay. All right. And then the last function for this module is going to be the regenMod. This is going to handle like modifications to how fast your stamina regens and how much it regens by. Okay. So then first off, we have the same params table thing. Local params equals a table. And then we have local new rate equals params.rate. Local regen amount equals params.amount. And then local time limit equals params.time limit. So I'm going to go through these. So rate basically is the new rate at which we regen stamina, and it's gonna be the amount of stamina we choose we want to regen by, or well, the new amount of stamina we want to regen by, if that makes sense. It's gonna be how long we want this modification to last. Okay, cool. So basically, let's say we have someone trying to like drink like 5 bottled waters at once using some type of like auto clicker or something. I don't know, right? We don't want them to like get like full stamina instantly. So we have this checker thing, this conditional here, which says if can change properties, then can change properties is whether or not we have already like the thing already has a modification on it, like the stamina already has a modification on it. Okay, so that's what this means. So if we don't have a modification on it, right, it's going to run this code below. That means that can change properties equals true. Okay, so after that, we're going to set it to false, meaning that we can change it again immediately, right? And then we have regen rate equals new rates. So we set the old regen rate that we set up here to the new rate, right? And then we set the regen amount to the new regen amount, right? And then we have task.delay time limit. So this is going to be how long I want it to last. So we're going to wait however long the time limit is, and then we're going to set the regen rate and amount back to the default regen rate and the default regen amount, if that makes sense. And then after that, we're going to set can change properties back to true, allowing us to change it again with another item or something. Okay. So here I have return. So right here I have return true to let us know, like let whatever called the function know that we ran the modifications. And if can change properties, like if we can't change the properties, I also return I return can't change properties, which is false. So I return false basically here, letting whatever script try to like change it know that we can't change it yet. So let's say you have a water bottle and you already drank one, right? And you're like, I want to drink another one to like add like a double boost, right? But like your game doesn't allow that. Like this stamina does not allow that. So we don't allow that, right? So this can basically let the script know that, oh, we can't do that, and then you can write like another code inside that script saying that, telling the character that, oh, you can't change your stamina yet because you already have a modification on or something like that. Makes sense. So yeah, that's basically what these two returns are for. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for the last function. So make sure you guys have it down. Right, cool. So now we're gonna move into the stamina script. Okay, so in the stamina script, this is gonna be inside of let me keep this up. Actually, I'm gonna keep up the module. All right, so in the stamina script, right, stamina main, this basically just gets the module that we just talked about. So it does require, and then it gets the module, and then it just starts the regeneration process. So module start, so it starts the regeneration process. That's all that this does. All right, and now let's get into the actual visual regeneration of the bar growing and yeah, etc. Let me make sure I set the transparency back to cause 0, cause yeah, there we go. All right, so now inside local script, I have a header, not a header, but like a template, which like basically lists out a bunch of variables and stuff. So I'll link that down below. But yeah, it basically just has like a bunch of services that I might use, might not use, and then yeah, like these are the main variables that you need. Okay, so you want to list the player, and these, just write these down. So player, character, humanoid. Then you also want to list the status config folder, the actual stamina instance, the heads up display, which is this, the stamina holder, and the stamina bar. And for the sentinels, we're gonna need the regen tween and the debounce. Okay, so yeah, now we have, for functions, we have one function that is going to be regen func equals function, and then parentheses. Now we're going to do if debounce, then this is basically just the cooldown thing. So if debounce or db equals true, then we don't run the function. But if it's false, we set it to true right here. And then we basically declare the max stamina, the current value, and then we make a variable called percentage, which is basically the value divided by the max, right? And this is going to be how we set the X scale of the bar. Okay, so now we do local info equals tween info.new. This is going to be the tween info for the tween, and we're going to make it grow every time it changes, right? It's going to grow over a quarter of a second time frame. The easing style is going to be linear this time. I think last time we used quad, I think, but yeah, now we're using linear to get it, to make it more I don't even know. I think I want to say smoother, but I don't think it's necessarily smoother, but like it just keeps it like consistent, right? And then we're setting the easing direction to in and out. Okay, and for the goal, we're gonna do size equals let me zoom in a bit more. We're gonna do size equals using 2.new, and then you're gonna do percentage for the X scale, 0 for the X offset, 1 for the X scale or Y scale, and then 0 for the Y offset. Okay, this is basically setting the X scale to the percentage, which is going to be in a range between 0 and 1. So if the max was 100 and then the current health was 50, the percentage will be 0.5, 50%. So I'll make the bar 50% of its size. All right. So for regen tween, we're going to now create the regen tween. We're going to do regen tween equals tween service create, and then we're going to put stamina bar as the instance, info for the info, and then the goal for the goal, and then we play that tween. Okay, and then after all of that, we're going to set the debounce back to false, And for the events, we're going to do stamina.change connect function or connect regen function, which is going to run this function every single time the stamina value changes. Okay. And then we have run service.render step connect function. This is basically this is like a loop that runs every single time like a frame changes on the client's the client's computer or whatever. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Right. And then under this, we're gonna do if debounce, right? So that means if like this is set to true, right? We're gonna make sure that we stop whatever tween is currently playing. This will make it more smoother and less janky for the tween animation. So we're gonna do if debounce, then this is basically the same thing as saying. Hold on, this is basically same as saying if db equals true, then that's the same thing. So if db is really the same thing. So yeah. So if that's true, then and we're gonna do if regen tween doesn't equal nil, right? So if regen tween exists, then we're gonna pause that tween and then set it to nil, so that we can, when we create it again, it's gonna be like a fresh new tween, so it doesn't like try to play two tweens at once. It just keeps it like consistent. All right. So let's test it out. We're gonna start by testing it out manually first. So let's click play. We're gonna click here. I'll look for our stamina. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, when I change the stamina to 30, it starts regenerating, and then the bar is regenerating smoothly as well. Okay, so that's that for just changing the stamina manually. Let me change it to 1 again, and then you can see it starts regenerating really smoothly. Nice, cool. Okay. So now I'm going to show you how to use the little these functions. Okay, the little subtract, add, and then mod functions. Okay, I have 3 orbs right here. This is going to be for this, the subtraction is going to be for the adding, and is going to be for the rate change modification thingy. And yeah, let's get into it. So what you want to do is you want to add, well, I'm going to show you guys how to do it with like the orbs, but you can just take the same method and put it inside whatever move you're trying to make, like a punching or whatever move you are trying to make. Okay. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so we have local c equals script dot parent dot click detector. We're gonna do click detector dot mouse click connect function, and then p local. So basically what I'm doing here is just making it so that every time I click the orb, it does the stamina addition. Local mod, or mod equals character, find first child. Let's do gonna be what thing is it, handlers, and then find first child stamina handler. If mod, then else warn handler stamina handlers script or module script does not exist. And then this is what we're gonna do, the little subtracting thing. Before that, let me just mod equals require, and then this, right? Let me just check, make sure this works. Print the module script exists. Okay, let's test this out real quick. So if I click the little orb, right? Okay, the module script exists. Okay, cool. Once you are here and you're trying to deduct the stamina from your from the character or the player using the move, right? What you want to do is you want to make sure you refer to the module script. So here I have require, and then I have the module script's destination. Okay, so character find first child handler, find first child stamina handler. Okay. So now after that, you want to make sure you set the properties of how you're going to deduct it. Okay, so from here I'm going to do props equals this, and then we're going to do let me localize that, right? Oh my god, local. Okay, and let's go back to the subtract function. As you can see here, right here, the subtract function takes the parameters. It has three values inside of the parameters table. Okay, it has type. No, it has halt type, halt time, and deduction. Okay, so you want to make sure you set those. So we're gonna do halt type equals. We're gonna do exert, because that's one of the types up here that we mentioned previously. See, regen the cancelers. So exert stamina cooldown. Either or doesn't matter. Like either one. I mean, honestly, since I'm only using one example, I can just literally take out one, just only use exert. But you can add as many as you want. These will all stop the stamina from regenning. So yeah. But since we're only using one, I'm gonna just take that one out and just leave exert. So yeah. So halt type equals exert. Halt what is it called? Halt something. Halt time equals let's say 3 seconds, right? And then deduction equals, we're gonna deduct 25 stamina. Okay, let's just double check to make sure we have the exact names, because I really don't want to run into any errors. That'll be really annoying. Subtract, yep, halt time, right? And then the deduction, just copy just to make sure. All right, cool. And now you're gonna do mod.subtract, and then you're gonna send the properties. So let's test it out. So now, if everything goes well, we should deduct 25 stamina, and it should wait before it starts regenning. Okay, let's test it out. Boom! As you can see, 25 stamina was deducted. Wait 3 seconds, and then it's gonna regen again. Again, boom, deducted. It's gonna stop and regen. Let's say I use it midway. Boom, still stops. Starts regenerating again, and then up, still stops, like that. So yeah, that's how you want. That's how you'd want to use, like the stamina. Okay, so yeah, so this is really the main. This is the main thing that you need to know for using it. Okay, these are the main things. If you want to check to make sure the character has like enough stamina, you can just do stam equals character, and things find first child status, right? Find first child stamina, and this is to check to see if the player has enough stamina to take away, right? Let's say local deduction equals 25, and I guess you can replace 25 with deduction. You're gonna do if stam.value is greater than or equal to deduction, then, and then you can put this inside of the little conditional. They can do else warn they don't have enough stamina. Honestly, you should just use print. I don't know, for some reason I like using warn, but like you just use print, don't use warn. Okay, let's try it out. So now if I just spam it, see, look, doesn't have enough stamina. It's not gonna take away anymore. See right here. See, that's how that works. But yeah. So that's the subtraction, and now we're gonna move on to the adding stamina. Yeah. All right. So now move on to adding. So in the adding, we're gonna do the exact same thing. I'm just gonna copy and paste this little script here so I can show you guys, and then go to the script, and then basically it's gonna be the same thing. We're gonna change this props to value, or I think the value equals, and then we're gonna add 25. Okay. We're gonna change this to add, and now. We can take this conditional. We can take this conditional out. We don't need this conditional. We just bring this back. Oh, I forgot how to like unindent. How do you? Okay, I can just copy and then paste right here. Okay. And now let's try. Oh. Okay, let's try and see. So yeah, it's basically the same thing as the other one, but you want to only have one argument, or argument, which is the value. So yeah, if I click, see, it adds 25 back. Look, I'm gonna take it out, and then look, I'm gonna add 25 and add 25, add 25. See? So yeah, that's how you use that. It's really the same thing. So you get the module script, and then for the props. Properties, you can just do value equals 25 and then dot add, and then boom, that's really it. So yeah, that's how that works. And I'm going to show you how to do the change properties. Okay, so for that one, it's gonna be the exact same thing. I'm gonna copy over the click detector in the script, paste it in there. A hotkey for pasting things inside of an object is Control Shift and then V. It pastes whatever you have copied inside of the object or instance or whatever. So yeah, so same thing really, but instead of subtract, you want to do, what was it? I think mod was the function. regenMod was the function. I'm gonna go there. I'll go to the script, and then change subtract to regenMod and send props. And for this one, I think we have different names. Okay, so for this one, we have, if you go back to this, we go to regenMod. We have rate, amount, and time limit. Okay, so going back, rate, amount, and time limit. So we're going to set the rates to 0.0. Let's say, what is it already at? I think right now it's at 0.05, if I'm not mistaken, right? Oh no, yeah, 0.05. So yeah, we're gonna make it 0.01, and then we're gonna change the amount to, we're gonna add, what is the original? The original is 1. We're gonna change the amount to 2, right? And then we're gonna let this modification last for 3 seconds, or 3 seconds, I think. 3 seconds should be good. That's pretty fast though, but yeah, 3 seconds. So let me double check to make sure I spelled the time limit thing right. Yep, time limit. Okay, cool. Just copy and paste just in case. But yeah, and now let's make sure we take out the conditional from the other one. Take these out, and then we can just bring this over here. Okay, but so now if I deduct the stamina, let's say deduct right here, and I click the regen mod, she's gonna start off slow and then pick. See how fast it went? Boom. So yeah, it speeds up the rate and how much it adds to it depending on what you put for the property. So if I bring it back down to like 0 and I wait and it starts regenning, and I hit the speed change, see? Boom. So that's how you would modify it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the stamina tutorial. I'm gonna have everything down below in the description as models, of course. Make sure you comment down below, leave a like and subscribe if this helped you. And yeah, let me know if you guys find any problems or if you guys find a better way to do this. Of course, we're always trying to get better, improve ourselves. If you guys find any better method, or if you guys find this method ineffective, let us know down below. We're trying to grow together as a community. So yeah, thank you for taking the time off your day to watch the video, and take it easy, y'all.